Okay, y'all, so at this point, Titans is really getting on my nerves. Let's talk about this mid-season finale that just happened and about the season in general, overall. Like, child, let's get into it. Okay, so by this point, especially those of you who have been following this channel for a bit, y'all already know, okay, that I am not feeling this show because I haven't reviewed an episode. So I really thought I was gonna start really reviewing this show, and I know what it is. I know it gives CW kind of tease, like I always say. It's not like a groundbreaking, earth-shattering TV show. It is what it is. The CGI is barely there. The plot, I don't know what she's doing. I only watch the show for Anna Diop, like y'all already know. I won't only watch the show for Starfire, if we're being real, and Tim, and that's because I'm rooting for everybody black, no shade, and that's really it. Y'all can tell that I'm not into this as much as I be into other shows because I have not talked about it as often or reviewed it as often as I do other shows. Granted, I thought that when we made the switch from wherever the show was to HBO, that HBO would be like, all right, we're going to do some more. We're going to get into it. We're going to pour some more money into the CGI, which I guess they kind of did, barely. We're going to get this plot together. We're going to make sure these characters make sense. We're going to make sure this team makes sense. And to me, it just fell short. It fell flat. I'm just like, girl, goddamn, I can excuse a lot of shit, especially if you have superheroes flying around and zapping each other with lasers. Like, you have to work really, really, really hard for me to stop watching or not be interested in something. And granted, I'm still probably gonna keep hate watching it. Like, I'm gonna be honest. But you have to work really hard for me to be disgusted by a show that has superheroes in it. Like, you have to work really hard. And I think it's because I had an experience with the cartoons and stuff, and I know a little bit about what goes on in Titans comics and stuff, that I'm just like, girl, what's going on with this show? And maybe, like I said, if I didn't have experience with Titans, maybe I would just accept it for what it is, but it just annoys the shit out of me. It annoys the shit out of me. So, I mean, even this episode, I think the writing is just like, what are y'all doing? This episode, we were supposed to get this major turn, and I guess we did, when it comes to Brother Blood, and because at first, when the season starts, he just has no idea what's going on, especially with the Church of Blood and all that stuff. Like, he doesn't know what's happening. He's this good character. He doesn't want to be evil. He doesn't want to kill people. So I'm expecting, okay, like, we're going to get this major turn. We're going to dive deep into this man's trauma, and they're going to use that. The Church of Blood, Mother Mayhem, is going to use that to turn him, right? And so we get to when Mother Mayhem is using this trauma, and the trauma from Brother Blood's life earlier on is what? That he got adopted or something. I can't even remember specifically. And then when he got in the house, he felt comfortable, but then the parent brought home somebody else, and they're like, oh, well, the girl needs your room, and can you share your Game Boy with her? And I'm just like, okay, these are not unreasonable things to happen. I guess the girl needed his room because it was warmer or something, and she was sick. I forget, something like that. So I'm like, okay, you're setting this up. You're setting up for something else to happen, and then nothing else happened. And I guess the other piece of trauma that they were able to use to help him turn to the dark side, I guess, was when he literally broke up with his girlfriend because he was insecure about, like, her breaking up with him first. It was just like, okay, those are not strong enough reasons to turn this normal man into Brother Blood. I was like, okay. I was like, okay. It don't make no sense to me, but okay. And then on top of that, we had Connor's weird ass identity crisis. This shit was so stupid to me because, like I said, I don't understand. I don't know. They made it seem like they literally forced two different personalities in one brain, right? Because on one hand, Connor's dumb as rocks some days and he can't even put two and two together. Then the next day he turned around, he shaves his head, and now he's coming up with this mastermind plan to use the satellites to make sure that the moon is not red so the Church of Blood can't turn Sebastian Shaw into fucking Brother Blood. I'm just like, girl, it's just you're doing a lot of showing and you're doing a lot of telling, I'm sorry, and you're not showing me, right? Because if you think about that character, or you think about the way that genetics works in general, you're not just gonna flip a switch and suddenly you all the mannerisms of Lex Luthor is gonna happen just because you're going to exhibit all those mannerisms just because you have his DNA in you, and then just the switch flips again, and then you're exhibiting all the mannerisms of Superman. It's just it doesn't make any sense. How you can have developed this identity crisis within Connor is, maybe have him multiple times trying to save the day. And then every time he does, he accidentally, not every time, but sometimes when he does, or maybe make one huge incident happen where he tries to save the day, he tries to save people, but he ends up accidentally hurting them. He ends up, manipulating people in ways and not even realizing that's what he's doing. And then he looks at his past actions and be like, wait a minute, like, wow, am I becoming Lex? Am I, and let that be something that develops as the season goes forward. I think that something like that would be a really interesting way for us to see Connor fighting with both sides of himself, instead of like, oh, okay, how do we get the audience to see that Connor's trying to be like, or Connor's like exhibiting Lex Luthor like mannerisms. Oh, get him to shave his head. It's just like it just didn't give me, and out of nowhere being an asshole to everybody on the team. And it's like, Connor does not want to be an asshole. I guess that's what they were saying before. So getting him to act out in those kinds of ways is dumb as fuck to me. Because like I said, you can make him accidentally hurt people. You can make his actions be maybe seen as emotionally or mentally manipulative. And then when he has to re-examine his actions, that's when he's like, oh, damn, am I becoming Lex or something like that? And it could be something that's bubbling underneath the surface of him until maybe the season finale happens and some crazy event happens where he takes it just too far. And then that's when he's like, oh, no, this is way too much. I'm doing way too much. And that causes him to spiral or something. But to show the audience that Connor is like fighting with himself, and the way that you show it is that he shaves his head and is just calling Dick Richard instead of Dick. It was just so like elementary to me. I was like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? And then Gar is running around here with visions and stuff, seeing this place called the Red, and is somehow connected to his powers. I'm just like, y'all doing all this red stuff, y'all doing all this vision stuff, when y'all could have just developed Gar's powers more. And I understand, I'm happy that we got to see him turn into a gorilla, that video game ass gorilla child. But it's just, y'all got to do better, girl. Y'all got to do better, girl. Now, real quick, you can tell that these showrunners don't have a lot of black people around them, no shade, because I'm like, if Corey and Dick have a child, that kid is not gonna look like that kid that we saw. That kid is not gonna look like that kid that we saw on the show. Like, I'm so sorry. And she's a very pretty girl. But you are, girl, that's supposed to be a mixed child. That's supposed to listen. If Corey and Dick have a kid, that kid's name is supposed to be Ashley, spelled like L-E-A, Kaylee, L-E-I-G-H. You know what I mean? Like, they supposed to be mixed, boo. Like, y'all got that kid looking like Wakanda forever, and the kid should be, if it's Corey and Dick's genes, the kid should be looking like Wakanda for kinda. Don't play with me. So, and then also when Star Labs, it has this measurement of Corey, and they're like, oh, well, now you're putting out 80% of your potential kinetic output. If you use too much, you're going to burn yourself up. I'm just like, how y'all know what a Tamaranian can do? Like, how y'all even come up with these measurements? And is it kinetic energy, or can she transform? I thought y'all said she was transforming the fucking solar energy. It's just like, okay. And then when Jinx was explaining that goddamn teleportation shit, I'm like, I'm not paying attention to this shit because it don't even matter. Y'all don't want that teleportation to be used on two people at a time because it would mess up the plot. And I just need for y'all to say that, or don't even address the shit and just move on, because y'all spending all this time explaining something that it does not matter, when you could have been giving Brother Blood a more legitimate reason for him turning evil. There's so much potential for, and I don't know what's going on with White Raven. I don't know how her powers are different, but whatever. So yeah, it's just it was so much potential for this show, and every time I tune in, I always complain. So I don't know why I keep tuning in. I'm telling you, it's just for Starfire, it's just for Anna, it's just for Tim. It's just like I just it could have been so much better than what it is right now. And as far as the writing, it seemed like they do not know how to tell a goddamn story for real, or make the plot holes just as minuscule as possible, because I didn't like it. I really am so mad that Titans has not been done justice since the goddamn 2006 cartoon. Like, oh my god, we need a young adult anime, Teen Titans or something. If y'all can't get the live action right, like, girl, it's fine. Somebody else develop that shit. Maybe let them be in their mid-20s, and maybe they don't call them Teen Titans, call them Titans, like y'all did in the show. But we done grown up, and we just need something solid when it comes to these Titans, because I don't know what this is. Y'all messed us up with Teen Titans Go. Y'all annoyed the shit out of me with this show that I'm probably still gonna end up hate watching. Just somebody come in and save me, please, as long as it's not Connor, because I don't got no nair for his ass. I don't have no hair clippers for his ass. I don't have no nair. All right. So yeah, let me know what y'all thought. And I know I was complaining a lot, but what else do y'all want me to do? Love y'all so much. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and I will catch y'all later.